Okay, so let's do the antibiotic prophylaxis. Now, let's say we are going to do a procedure, and this procedure it needs the antibiotic prophylaxis. Now, how we decide if it needs the antibiotic prophylaxis or not, we're gonna do it later. But what would you do before this procedure if you know that this procedure is going to require the antibiotic prophylaxis? Okay, so before this procedure, 30 to 50 minutes, or you can say half an hour to 1 hour, sorry, not 50, 60 minutes. So half an hour to 1 hour before this, what will you do? You will give an antibiotic, right? Now this antibiotic that you're gonna give, it could be different type. For example, it could be um, penicillin. Now when you give the penicillin, this could be your amoxicillin, this could be your ampicillin, which you give 2 grams. Okay, so the first one is the 2 gram and it's amoxi or it's ampi, right? If you don't want to give this, the next one is your cefazolin. So next is the C, and cefazolin you give half of it, so you give 1 gram. Okay, so 2 gram or 1 gram. Now when I say 2 gram or 1 gram, this 2 gram is if you are giving the oral, right? Or if you are giving IM or IV. Now the second one, which is C, you give half of it, that is 1 gram, and you only give it IM or IV. Okay, now let's say somebody is allergic to this whole penicillin drug group, which is amoxi, MP or cefazolin. Then you give the second line of drug. Now the second line of drug is Cephalexin. So this is again the C. Now remember, this was F and this is P, right? Or this is Clinda. So it's Cepha or Clinda. Look how beautiful it is actually following the alphabetical order. So Cephalexin or clindamycin. Now Cephalexin, again, this is the replacement of penicillins. Now because this is the replacement of the penicillin, this you give the 2 gram again. Okay, but if you don't want to give this, then the next one is the Clinda. Clinda, remember, it is only 600 mg that you give. 600 mg, these are both oral, right? Or in the end, what you can do is azithro. Azithro you give even lesser, it is 500 mg, right? 500 mg. Now if you go through this and you only include the oral agents, what did you read? You studied that you can give penicillin A, which is ampicillin or amoxicillin, 2 grams orally. If you can't give this, you come to the second alphabetic C, E, P. So C, E, P, A and C. So C, E, P and then Cl. So Cephalexin. Cephalexin, again you give 2 gram, 2 gram. If not, you give the Clinda. Now next alphabetical. Clinda you give 600 mg. If not, then you come to the Z. So azithro, which you give the 500 mg. Okay, so these are the oral. Now let's say somebody cannot take the oral medication, then what will happen? The first one was the Cefazolin. Cefazolin, it is 1 gram IM or IV. And if they cannot take the Cefazolin, then they come to the Clinda. Clinda could also be taken IM or IV, and it is the same dose, 600 mg, right? So these are the two things that you need to remember. Now we also do have the dosage for the children. In children it's quite easy. See, again I'm gonna do the oral A, and then the second one, it was my Cef, third was my Clinda, fourth was my azithro. And when I did the IV, I said it's Cefazolin, and the second one was the Clinda. Okay, so when I did the adults, I said 2 gram, 2 gram, 600, and then I said 500. For Cefazolin, I said it was 1 gram, and this Clinda was my, again the same, 600 mg. This was my adult dose. Now my children pediatric dose. Pediatric dose is very simple. This one is 50 milligram per kg body weight. Okay, 50 milligram. This one again, this will be the same, 50 milligram. Okay, this reduces to only 20, and this reduces to 15. All of this is the milligram per kg weight. These were all the grams, and this was definitely milligram and milligram. Okay, so this is milligram per kg body weight. Now when I come to the IV, I said 1 gram and I said 600 milligram for the adults. And now for the pediatrics, it is the 50, it's the same number as above, 50, and this one goes to the 20, just like we did here. So this is the 20. So this is the amount that you will give to the patient when you figure out that this patient needs half an hour or 1 hour before the procedure, this patient needs the antibiotic prophylaxis. Now what if you forgot? If you forgot, or let's say because of anything the patient couldn't take it, then within the 2 hours of the procedure you can take the antibiotic prophylaxis. Okay, so this was part 1 of antibiotic prophylaxis. Now how to determine if the patient needs the antibiotic prophylaxis or not, especially in a dental scenario. So let's go about this as in, you know, patient came to you and you're going to do a procedure. So what are the procedures that would trigger your critical thinking? When would you think, oh, let me see if this patient needs antibiotic in the prophylaxis or not? So let's first talk about those procedures that will need the antibiotic prophylaxis if the patient is a candidate for that.